thank you again to Dan for creating this Formula One challenge for us. So let's take a look at how the data looks as it comes in. This is coming in from the OpenF1 API. So we can see that we've got 318 rows, all at different times for our drivers on their qualifying laps. And what's most important really is our lap duration, so that we can see who has the fastest lap in qualifying 1, 2 and 3. So first of all, in order to identify qualifier 1, 2 or 3, we need to clean up our date field. So we need to change that into a date time. So go into our menu there, change it to a date time to get rid of the T and this plus 00. And then once we do that, luckily Tableau Prep kind of automatically recognizes it, turns it into a date time, and we're on our way, which is all good. So our next step is to work out the starting time. Once we know the starting time, we can work out the end of Q1, so the end of the qualifier number 1, because we know that's 18 minutes long, so we can have a section between those two. So the starting time is just going to be the earliest time in the dataset. So in order to calculate that, I'm going to use an LOD, so I'm going to go to date start, go to create calculated field, fixed LOD, and then by default it's configured as the min, and so we've got the min date start, and that is the earliest time in the dataset. So I'm just going to get rid of my additional LOD that I did there because I've already got a starting time one here. And then, as I said, we want to include all times up to about 18 minutes after that. So in order for the end of Q1 to be classified, we are saying that it is adding on 20 minutes to give us a little bit of buffer room there to the starting time. And then we're just going to filter to just Q1, so just the first qualifying round, and that is just saying that the date start is less than the end of Q1 there. So now we only have 164 rows. So now for each driver, we just want to know what was their fastest lap, so that we can rank them based on that. So we'll just group by the driver number, since we don't have driver name at the moment in the dataset, and we're just taking their minimum lap duration, and that will give us their fastest lap. Next up, we want to rank those lap durations, so go to our menu again, create calculated fields, and do a rank this time. And we don't want to group it by anything. We just want to make sure that we're doing it in ascending order rather than descending order, so that our fastest driver gets a rank of 1 and our slowest driver is getting a rank of 20. So we only have 20 rows left at this point because we have 20 drivers, and we know that at this stage, after qualifier 1, we're just going to categorize drivers in position 16 to 20 as the slowest. They won't take part in qualifier 2. So we just need to filter this data so that we only have position 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Lovely, so that's our Q1. Now let's go and deal with Q2. So first up, we're just going to do basically the opposite of what we did there. And we're going to just say to keep only those dates that are after the end of Q1. So that all works nicely for us there. And just a note there, the reason that we did that 20 minutes rather than 18 minutes, we can see that our end of Q1 is ending about 20 past 2 there, and our Q2 is then starting at about 25 minutes past. So our end of Q1 is not necessarily the start of Q2, but we've got that 5 minutes in between before Q2 started. So let's work out the start and end dates then of Q2. It's very much just exactly the same as the start time and end time of Q1. So I've done it in one step here. So that fixed LOD again for the Q2 start on the start date field once we filtered it, and then the end of Q2. This time again we're using that 2-minute buffer again, so 17 minutes added on to the start of Q2. Lovely, so then we have our start and end, so we can filter our data to just be Q2, and then repeat those steps again for the fastest lap and ranking, and this time for Q2 qualifier 2 we're assigning positions 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So again, just filtering those drivers who weren't quite as fast as the other ones. And then finally, we're just up to filtering to Q3. So our data start has to be greater than the end of Q2 to be classed as being in Q3. So we only have 10 drivers left at this point. We should do anyway. Let's find our driver number. There we go. We have 10 drivers left for Q3, which is good. That's what we want to be seeing. We do those same steps of aggregating so that we're taking their fastest lap of Q3, and then we're ranking again. And we've got this similar structure whether it's Q1, Q2, or Q3. And so we can union these data sets together. Get rid of the table names, just delete that field. That doesn't provide any useful information for us. And now we know the starting position for all the drivers of that race. And speaking of those drivers, who actually are they? We don't usually refer to people by their numbers, so what are their names? So this is what our driver data set is looking like for the drivers. We've got the number, the code, the name, and their constructor sponsor name. So we're just going to join these two data sets together on driver number. We notice we lose one of the drivers there. I'm sure that F1 fans would be able to tell me maybe this driver clearly this driver wasn't participating in this race, but maybe there's a good reason that they're included in this driver's data set initially. Cool, so we just remove that duplicated field, that driver number -1, and then all that's left to do, we notice that our position has gotten a bit out of line, so we can sort that in the grid here, but that doesn't kind of follow through to our output. So if we want that to apply, we just need to do another rank on that position field that I've created here, and then just delete the position field and rename it so that our data is now sorted in ascending order. That's one of those, if you're feeding it into Tableau, you don't really care about the order of your rows, but it's good to know that that's something that you can do if you know you want to send this data set to someone, for example. So all that's left to do is output it. Lovely. I hope you enjoyed that Formula One challenge. Thank you very much to Dan for creating it for us, and thank you very much for watching.